Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a Learning and Growing webinar, Using Bridge Programs to Improve Student Success. Our presenter today is Professor Pavel Sikorskii from Michigan State University. My name is Cameron Muntz, and I'm a member of the sales team here at Hawks Learning. We will have a live Q&A session after the presentation, so please enter any questions into the Q&A as we go. With that being said, I will now hand it over to our presenter.
Good morning, everyone. So thank you for the introduction. I'm happy to give this brief presentation on this bridge program. So again, my name is Pavel Sikorskii. I'm a co-director of the undergraduate studies at Michigan State University, and I have been at MSU almost 30 years. So this program that I want to talk about is really something that we're proud of, and we've been running it in different shapes and forms for the last decade or so. So first of all, I mean, what is a bridge program? By the way, I'm just going to talk. I was going to present the slides, but then I figured that it would be a little bit more fun if I just talk about the program. So what is a bridge program? So the bridge program is for typically, they're known to work, right? There are different bridges for different, but typically it's when you have a student who is trying to get into a certain level, let's say mathematics placement in this case, and gets close to it, but it's certainly, it's clear to us, it's clear to the student that the student is not prepared, but he or she is close. So there are two alternatives. One is to have the student go to sort of a lower placement course, like for example, pre-calculus or college algebra, complete that, and then get into calculus, if that's what the student is trying to do. And that's what, for example, for many engineering majors, that's sort of a goal. They're trying to get into calculus, and the sooner they start, the better chances they have to complete the actual degree. And as many of you know, it's critical to mathematics placement is really critical in terms of their degree completion. So again, you have a student who is not quite ready, and this is also very highly correlated with the background where the student comes from. I mean, there are some of the students come from schools where they clearly did not have an opportunity to be adequately prepared for calculus placement, for example, at the university level. And so you try to identify these students. One way to do this is sort of borderline placement. And then what we do is we put them into an online program during the summer. These are incoming freshmen. So we identify them during the incoming orientation, and then we put them into this program, and we give them a pre-test, which is basically the math placement test. And so again, I can look at there are multiple levels, but for example, for the calculus level, you have at the beginning, all of the students are not ready, right? So they're close, but they're not ready. And that's sort of, that test serves as pre-test. And then we put them through the program, and it's an intense, they can actually kind of go at their own pace, but it's between 3 and 5 weeks. It's online. It's it is using so of course you need to have a good online software, and we're currently using WebAssign, and we've been satisfied with that. But again, there are many different out there, but many other software platforms out there that could be looked at. And I know Hawks is working very hard on advancing their platform, and I think it's made a lot of it's very impressive. So, but again, you need to have a solid platform for that. You need to have good videos. You need to have good interactive assignments. You need to have some support. The more adaptiveness you have, the better. The more adaptiveness is critical, because these students come in at obviously different levels. And so they take the program, they go through it online, they take the test again, that serves as a post-test, and the success rate is about 80%. That's been consistent, which I'm pretty proud of. I mean, 80% is good. So, and it's typically, we have a very large incoming freshman class, but the program typically has about 50 students in it, 50, 60. Sometimes we get up to 100. And typically the ones who don't succeed are the ones who sign up, but they don't really participate. So that's, again, the ones who are trying, they succeed. And so so again, let's take a look at the sort of the components of this. I mean, first of all, the idea is how do you identify? So one important part is how to identify the students. Well, you look at math placement. You can have your own in-house placement. Many colleges have their own. Then some are using EquiPlace, or some are using. Well, there are Alex. I mean, there are many different placement mechanisms out there. Or just looking at the SATs and ACTs and the standardized exams. So any kind of placement, but anything. And one thing that we've done, we have also done this outside the freshmen. We went into high schools in Detroit area and worked with some students who were juniors and seniors in high school with sort of a similar goal. We tried to, and we worked with the teachers to identify the students who are STEM bound, who are really interested, but they're not, based on the teachers' feedback, they're not quite ready, but they're trying. And so again, the same, and in that case, we actually expanded the program and we made it a year-long program. And again, the success rate was amazing. There were most of the students who were initially enrolled in the program were not placing into calculus, and then afterwards they were 80%. Again, the success rate has been steadily 80%. That's what I would probably have. If I had one PowerPoint slide, that would be the one with the 80% success rate, which we're all very proud of. So it is one. So again, but back to the incoming freshman program, they sign up, they go online. There is we have a faculty who's running the program. The program generates its own revenue. Students actually pay to get in. It's not a very large fee, but it's a fee, and it also sort of serves as a motivator in some way. I mean, of course, there are many issues with that, as in terms of financial aid. How this is not really a credit-bearing program, so it's hard for students to get help with this financially. But there are mechanisms that many universities are offering more and more of, where students can actually get some support. But anyway, they take it online. They work on problems. They work on the sort of big ideas that are typically the ones that we know are challenging for the students. They work on interactive quizzes, and they watch videos. Again, the assignments are adaptive. So they depends on how the system creates different levels and different problems for different students, depending on their performance. And then they take the post-test, and then we place them accordingly to that. So why do I associate this program with the DEI? I had this in the title because a lot of the students who are placing into who are taking our program, who are enrolling in our program, are students from underrepresented groups. They come from schools where they did not have a good opportunity to get well prepared for what's coming in college. And that's, many of us look at DFW rates. Many of us look at the time to graduation, and all universities look at those and statistics, and everybody's trying to improve that. And and then of course you kind of start looking at the actual rates of the actual students who are failing the courses, who are delaying their graduation, and you look at what are the roots of those. Why are they failing, right? So there is a typically, again, there's two main reasons. One is lack of motivation, and that's kind of a challenging part, where you need advisors from outside of math or chemistry or physics to work with the students on that. It's like we're talking about life skills, we talk about work ethics, we talk about just motivation to do, to try to get the degree. And so the other major reason is underpreparedness, where students come in, they're not ready for a class that they're being put in, and they don't do well in it, then they try to repeat, or then they get discouraged, and they get behind, they don't complete the degree. And so this program, the bridge programs, are known to help with the second issue, the underpreparedness. And we try to, so again, and of course, we do so much more online these days than we used to do. 10 years ago, we did less, but it is critical to have good support. It is critical to have good recruitment strategies for this. It's in the case of Michigan State University, we have this that big summer orientation program with an incoming freshman class of about 8,000 students. So it's a big operation. Many advisors work in that operation. There is advisors from math, and there are advisors from other disciplines. And of course, math, particularly sort of gateway level mathematics courses, serve most of the university. And so you need to have your advisors from other majors working with the advisors from math. In our case with math, I mean, of course, bridge programs could be implemented in other subjects too. You know, the writing seems to be a challenge for incoming freshmen. There's also, I think, opportunities to work in sciences as well, and to do something similar in biology and physics, chemistry. But you know, so again, during the orientation, we recruit the students. We ask them. We look for them. We look for the appropriate. So like I said, we look for borderline placement, but we try to, and it's critical to make sure that the advising community in your university or college is aware of the program, and is aware of the success rates, and is aware of the goals, and that helps with recruitment. And then we just run it, and you need to have some support at your departmental level too. So starting with the administrator or an executive, whether it's chair or undergraduate director, and then you have to have the actual faculty who's intimately involved in the program, who's really, you know, looking over the students, looking at the progress. And when those students are working online, there should be support, and we also use undergraduate learning assistants to help work with students face-to-face, whether it's over the phone, or there are sometimes when we can, we set up live office hours where students can visit if they need assistance with problems. But typically, students who sign up for the program, they work independently, they work online. And this is when, again, I can't emphasize this enough, is how important to have an efficient, adaptive, high quality online platform, which has all the features that you can think of, right? And I like the, and it also needs to be fun. There needs to be some really, we try to use animations wherever we can. Of course, math is not known to be the most fun subject out there, but there are applications where you can do some interesting things, and we try to do as much of that as we can. So videos, animations, live. Whenever it comes to visualization, it's critical to have good geometry, good graphs, something that students can play with. And so, and again, there are platforms out there. I know Hawks is working very hard on their platform, and I think it has great features to it, and we, as from my point of view, we always look at what's best out there and try to, if we see something that's better than what we're using, we switch into it. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And if there are any questions, please put them into the Q&A or chat, and I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Professor Sikorskii. We are going to give people a few moments just to type into that Q&A if they do have any questions. While you guys are doing that, I am going to paste a few links into the chat below. If you or any of your fellow instructors are interested in presenting for our Learning and Growing webinar series, please do not hesitate to reach out. Regardless, thank you so much, Professor Sikorskii. We appreciate you coming out and speaking, but I will just give everybody a few more minutes to type in any questions they may have.
Sure, no problem.
So the first one that did pop up from Diane Harris was, can you talk more about the adaptive courseware you've looked at and why you stay with WebAssign?
So we're not, maybe I'll start with the second, with Liz's question. So currently we're not using the Hawks course, but we're certainly looking at them. And jumping to Diane's, so WebAssign has some adaptive features where there are certain problems when they work on quizzes, and they try to do a problem and they get the wrong answer, then the system would redirect them into sort of a problem from the previous level. So it will find from the bank of the problems they get more basic questions to work on if they're struggling at a certain level. So one of the main reasons why we stayed with WebAssign was because when we started the program, we worked on a certain custom text for it, and it's not a print anymore, it's online, but it was something that we worked with Cengage on to create, and it was best accessible from WebAssign as it was built into it. So it's something that we just have been using for a while, and it works, but we're actively looking at other options, including Hawks' courses.
And that actually takes us directly into our next question from Liz, saying, have you used any Hawks courses in the past? And if so, which ones are you looking into?
Well, we're looking at so we haven't, but we're looking at the pre-calculus one is very, I'm looking at both pre-calculus and calculus, and I would like to see, and I haven't seen it yet, but I would like to see what's there for the quantitative literacy, quantitative reasoning type courses as well.
All right, and it does look like that was all of the questions we have time for today. So with that, I just want to say once again, thank you so much, Professor Sikorskii, for coming and speaking with us today. And also thank you to all the attendees who came and saw our presentation. I will be emailing you a link with the recording of this webinar once it is available, but otherwise, thank you so much for coming out and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.